Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rob Review. I'm Robert Marsh, your friend, host, and your friend in success here on the Rob Review. Going into a brand new year, at least we're right on the cusp. If you have been watching this show for a while, maybe you've taken some of my advice to heart in what I do in preparing ahead of time. So I'm already in a new year, mindset-wise, paper preparing-wise, like my plans are already further into the new year than most people's. I'm not playing catch up, or at least I try not to, okay? I haven't played catch up in a long time. I'm making preparations now for March, April of next year, and investments, trades I'm going to do, the financial side of things, and everything else I can plan for contingency-wise, because I've always been taught as an adult, even as a young man, to plan for the worst, hope for the best, and trust in God's guidance. So this is what I do, all right? Today I want to talk about that idea of making a plan in the way of investing. This is not investing 101. This is not I'm going to throw a bunch of words at you and just talk about stocks to buy and blah, blah, blah. That's not what this is. What I want to do as we go into a new year is really get down in the nitty-gritty with the Rob Review and take it to a place that it's never been before so that I can really give you everything I got. So here's the goal for this show: to help you understand that investing is not one thing. It's not a vehicle. It's not when people say investing and you think, okay, when I say investing, what do you think? If you think 401ks, my mutual fund, if you think putting cash in a mattress, if you think savings, if you think about that's a mindset that you have set up to what investing is, and that's not what it is. Investing is an action word attached to a goal that you have for your money, a goal that you have for your time, a goal that you have for a relationship that you're investing in. And now we're going to talk about it in terms of time that you get from having more money. So we're ultimately going to talk about financial investing, and to do that, you have to have a goal. If you don't have a goal, then you're not investing, because investing is not a vehicle. Investing is not putting money into one thing. So that's where we got to start. Investing as an actionable goal, all right? I don't think enough people do this, because if enough people did do this, we would not have so many people needing government assistance in retirement. And that's a big piece that we got to talk about right there. Investing is not just for retirement. See, the financial world as a whole has made a whole lot of money off of inventing vehicles for us to invest in to achieve a retirement dream. And most of you, as I said that, you have an image in your mind of what that dream is for you. A lot of us have similar images. Why? Because marketing has painted it that way. I want you to try to break out of that mindset as best you can so that you can clarify for yourself, without having any preconceived notions of what it should be, what retirement really is for you. Because no matter how old or young you are right now, you probably are not on the path to get there. If you are in the majority of people, there's a minority of people out there that are on their path. They haven't seen their retirement be decimated by recent financial things that have happened to the market itself and the real estate market and other economic pieces of the puzzle over the last couple of years. But that's very few. I don't know the percentage, but I know it's very few by talking to people. The majority of people that want to retire don't have a date set, don't really know how much money they want to have. They just kind of have a ballpark figure, and they're hoping that they'll have enough money. And really, because they don't have a date set, what's going to happen is they're not actually going to retire. They're going to stop working when they physically are unable to. And now I'm in the ballpark of I never want to stop working. So I get that idea. But I'm also in the ballpark of I'm planning to slowly cut back, literally from right now, from 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. I'm going to work less and less and less. And I'm going to earn more and more and more. This is how I think everybody should think. And I realize that I'm never going to get everybody to get on board with that. But if I get enough people to start thinking this way, then we can throw away that preconceived notion of retiring to live off of money, spend, drinking pina coladas and living on the beach every day and wasting away, basically, to getting to where the society as a whole is more productive than ever when you're 70 and 80. All right? Investing is not just for retirement. Investing is for financial stability, independence, and wealth, generational wealth. It doesn't mean billions. It doesn't even mean millions. Generational wealth means that you have enough money that when you die, you leave something to the next generation, and they can build off of that. That's generational wealth. That whole mindset shift is what I want to help you happen, because if I can set that up, if I can change with this show, the idea that investing is not in a vehicle, investing is not retirement, investing is not one thing, if I can shift that paradigm shift, then the rest of this year is going to go the way that I want it to go. All right? Think about your future. How do you want to live? You. Only you, not your spouse. And then you got to sit down with your spouse and work out a comparable in between. Because for most people, they never, ever get there. And I want to see you get there. Investing is the science. This is the way I look at investing. Investing is the science of growing your money that you're making now to the point where it earns more than you need so that you can stop working and then continue to grow that money through the skills, efforts of both you and your team until you no longer are alive. That's the way that I look at investing for wealth. Some people just want comfort, and we're going to go into both of those. Not only surface, but deep down, I am going to start an account from zero right now. As I walk out of this recording, I'm going to go start an account. I'm going to fund it with money that I'm going to earn doing something. And then I am going to show you every trade for the rest of the year in that account as I grow it, and then invest it. And that's going to be the thought process, that if I can do it, you can do it. Okay? What do you want? That's where it starts. And then, what do you need to pay for? See, if you're like me, maybe you got kids that are going to go to college. You need to plan for that. You need to invest for that. You got medical issues that you're eventually going to have to take care of. You know, not like I had them, but I'm talking about you're going to need more medically than you do right now eventually. You've got parents that you probably are going to have to take care of. You have charities that you would like to see grow. All those are part and parcel to investing well and planning for your future. Okay, so it's not just what you want, it's also what you need to pay for. And in my opinion, we're all obligated, and this country would be a lot better off if we took the obligation of, I need to help my kids' kids financially. If we all did that, you would see wealth that is not just transferable. See, most of you have ever heard that term shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. That's because somebody like me makes it. They don't teach their kids well enough. Their kids know enough to do something, but not grow it enough, and then their grandchildren, because their kids don't have the foundation, their grandchildren are so far removed from the person that and the mindset that made the wealth, they blow it and spend it. Okay? And I could give you example after example after example, but that's not what this is about. This is about fixing that and helping you understand that that the tweak is you are the generational change in your family. That you are not investing just for you, but for future generations. However, it doesn't mean that you don't get to enjoy it. It doesn't mean that you can't have the attitude that this is my money and I'm going to spend it the way I want to and you got to earn your own. It means that I like to have a fail-safe. My kids personally, between me and you, my kids are never going to know that they have anything set away for them until either I'm gone or until they are old enough to have proven that they can earn on their own. Then they will be presented with the ability to dip into some kind of a trust. Not going to ever let them think that I'm going to leave anything for them. But I don't want my family legacy to be dependent upon somebody else if I can put some kind of control onto it. That's the way I look at investing. That is the start of this whole idea. So begin with the end in mind. Where do you want to go? It doesn't have to be definite, just a loose idea. How much do you want to have? Where do you want to live? How do you want to live? Have fun with it. Write it down on paper. Begin to see a fleshed out plan and pattern. Just like my recent conversation with my brother. You know, him and I were talking and I could see that he had a plan. Instantly, I said, what's your plan for investing your money? Instantly, he said, I want to live off of dividend income. That is so much further along than most people. And I want to get y'all there. Maybe you're already there. Maybe you just are here tweaking things. That's great. But if you're not there, it's not just about what my brother's doing. It's about where you want to be. Maybe it's not dividends for you. All right, so you've thought about what you wanted. It doesn't have to be completely clarified now, but for the sake of time and for the sake of this show, we need to assume that you're in a stable financial position, okay? Because obviously, we've talked about before, it's really difficult to invest when you don't have anything to invest. If you are riding that line of $0 at the end of every single money cycle, because you have so much going out and you can't help it, you got to figure out a way to fix that first. And that's not what this episode is about. But let's assume you fix that and you have something extra, okay? What is the plan to get you to your eventual goal? Do you know what vehicle you're going to use? Because I believe you can invest in a lot of things, but I believe, based upon statistical analysis, that most people start out with one type of asset class or vehicle. For me, it's the stock market, you know, and I'm going to show you in this show, not this one, but in Rob Reviews to come, how the stock market can generate a ridiculous amount of money for you. It's not just about buying and selling stock, guys. There's so many tools out there to manipulate the money in the market that you can churn income and invest in so many ways. Regardless of what kind of money you have, you can start, grow, and as you grow the tools and the skill set that you have to use those tools and get to a point where there's this the sky's the limit in the stock market. And I've struggled with that myself, the idea that I have to have multiple assets. So I have to go out and build all these other things. And every time I do that and I take focus away from the stock market, I lose. I mean, I don't lose in the fact that I've built assets that are beneficial financially and otherwise, but I could have been better off had I never taken my eye off the stock market in the first place. So you say, well, how do I get money to start in the stock market? Well, again, we're assuming you have some extra. But if you don't, you got to start there. I mean, you got to. And however you generate extra, the stock market, in my opinion, is not a place to put any money that you need to live off of. And that's a difficult thing for most people because they're like, I need to live off of all of it. Which is why most people never touch the stock market until it's too late for them to really benefit from the compounding. The asset's there, use it. But there's other asset classes too. I mean, and everything is cyclical. So there's never the best time to get into anything. Generally speaking, money-wise, and I learned this from a lot of books. This book right here is a good one to read when it talks about investing. Most people hop into things when they're hot, when the rich have already made a lot of their money in those things. Let's take stocks, for example. Most people buy stuff in the market when the beginning of the uptrend has already started and the money is being made by the people that bought it before them. And the public is rushing in, buying. And who's selling to them? Well, me. I am. Because I don't play that game. I do the opposite. Okay? I look at what the crowd is doing and I do the opposite. And I benefit from that. See, the stock market is a game where somebody has to lose in order for somebody to win. Most asset classes are that way. There's a few, that you can build while helping others. But it just is that way. So don't think that it's a place to be when you don't have anything extra. But also, don't step aside and sheepishly let opportunity pass you by when you could have been benefiting because you're worried about losing something that you have sitting here. You can always make it back. Okay? Investing is the idea of learning an asset class and understanding how to evaluate opportunity from a mindset of seeing things that other people don't, from being able to look at income statements and balance sheets and finding the diamonds in the rough. And you have to do a lot of that, and you get really good at doing it because you have to do so much of that. But then there's other ways of doing it that are outside of the norm, that are outside of even how a lot of Wall Street does it. There's a really, really high functioning way of doing it that I have learned is really beneficial once you learn it, because you step outside of the ebb and flow of most people's monetary, of most people's accounts. Let me see if I can break that down even further. Investing is not, in my opinion, in the stock market, just buying and holding forever. It's not just going and saying, I'm going to find one fund, and this fund has been doing well for the last 20 years, so I'm going to give them all my money. It's not finding an index fund that matches the market's return and just putting all your money in that. That's not what I think investing is. Even if you just want to be comfortable, I don't think that's the way to do it. Now, especially if you want to be rich, you're not going to do it that way. But the problem with doing that is that the ebb and flow of the market inevitably generally goes up 2/3 of the time and down 1/3. So the math on that works out to you're always going to come out to the good by just buying and holding, right? Well, problem there. the 1/3 of the time that it goes down, it generally goes down much faster than it goes up. When something's being pushed up a hill, it takes more friction, effort to push it up than it does when it goes over the cliff and falls and gravity pulls it down, okay? It falls harder and you lose quicker. And you got to think about the fact that when it comes to the stock market, if you've made 100% and you lose 50, you got to gain back 100% to get back to zero. You can't just gain back the 50. You got to gain back 50 and then 50 more to get to the zero, to get to even, to get to the 100 it took you to gain. So 2/3 of the time. Now, obviously, over the past 20 years, those investment vehicles have worked really well. But you also got to look at the economy and how it's changing and how the growth over the last 20 years has been the greatest bull market we've ever seen. And so the uptick did benefit people. But you can't historically say what happened is going to happen again. You got to look at now and use historical data to judge, but also understand that now has its own wording and it's going to tell you what's going to happen if you know what you're looking for. And I think that the days of just buying an index fund and holding are over. I also think, even if they're not over, you can do 5 times better if you buy, sell, buy, sell. You can learn how to manipulate it. And you don't always have to have your money working for you. That's not investing. That's the wrong thought process, I think. I think if you buy a quality company, you want to have a target, you know? And I'll show you in coming episodes how to decide a target, how to figure out, okay, if I buy a stock, for instance, guys, I believe that the longest I'm going to hold it for is like 5 years. And most of the time, I'm buying something selling out in 72 months at the longest, 12 at the shortest. Because I'm only trying to get a chunk in the middle, stepping aside, saying thank you very much and going to find the next opportunity. Investing is slow, methodical. I'm going to watch this stock. It's coming down, 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 down. People are tired of it. They don't think it's worth buying. Now's the time to buy. It's going up, 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 selling it right there because everybody's starting to buy right there, taking my chunk in the middle. Now they're making their money. Oh, but now they're screaming. Now it's coming back down. They're selling it. I'm going to buy it from them. I'm going to benefit, or I'm going to sell against it. It's just a contrarian thought process. And I know if you're disagreeing with me right now, you're sitting here and you're saying, this guy's freaking nuts. That's fine. I don't need you to agree with me. I've been okay with that for a long time. But if you want to step into the shoes of a person that has made success in the market, not me, people that have taught me, but I have their thought process, then listen for a minute. Open your ears. We talked about before, investing is not what everybody else says it is. I'm trying to break that, and a paradigm shift will appear. Contrary to popular belief, investing is seeing opportunity, striking the iron before anybody knows that the iron is hot, and taking away what you want before everybody jumps on the pile. That's investing. It's contrary. I've done it for so long. I thought like that for so long, I cannot go back to thinking the other way. Right or wrong, this is my way. And that's a whole nother talk, what is right and wrong when it comes to investing. In my opinion, what's right is what's profitable. That's the measuring stick. Profit. And generally, it's a measuring stick of how you've changed this. It's an after of fixing this. So for the rest of this series, we're going to dive deep into I don't know what I'm going to call this series yet, but truly I'm trying to myth bust investing. The title of this book that I'm reading right now, that I've read multiple times, and every time I read it, I get a different thought process out of it, is what the rich invest in that the poor and the middle class do not. Okay? Whether you want to be comfortable or rich, I believe that America has a new middle class. And it's people that are able to think differently than the middle class has of yesteryear. It's not just having a high-functioning, high-paying job. It's knowing how to grow that money that's going to allow you to be comfortable and then rich in this society moving forward. And in order to do that, I believe you have to be able to think differently than everybody else. And so it starts with investing is not what everybody thinks it is. Investing is a plan put into action based upon a goal. You cannot plan something if you do not know what the plan is trying to achieve. And then it's looking at what you have, the assets you have in front of you, gathering them up, putting them to work with the plan, and achieving the goal.